so excited to jump in to Romans chapter 12, verse 7 today as we continue our whole devotional series going through Romans 12. Like every day, let's start off with a quick word of prayer. God, if you have something to say, we're listening. Here's the thing. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever missed something that was very obvious? Maybe you were, looking, maybe like a Where's Waldo book, and, you've been looking for like an hour and someone finds it in a couple seconds. Maybe you're looking for something in your refrigerator, can't find it, yet someone walks in and spots it like in a moment. Maybe you're looking for something on a map, or you're at the mall looking for where the store is, and you just are searching through, you can't find it. And then someone else, it's like, oh, boom, there it is. I've had moments like that, where I missed the obvious thing in front of me. Now, if you've ever missed the obvious thing, you know that immediate feeling of, how did I not see that? And it's not a feeling of feeling dumb, because it's such a minor thing. And it's not feeling foolish. It's just feeling like you missed what was right in front of you. Like it's more of like that's a bummer. Like that, ugh. I hate those moments. I hate those moments. Because I want to be the person that does spot the obvious thing and that doesn't miss the obvious. I want to be the person in my spiritual life that doesn't miss the obvious thing. I want to be the person in my marriage. I want to be the kind of father, when my mom was around, I wanted to be the kind of son that doesn't miss the obvious thing. You don't miss birthdays. You don't miss anniversaries. You don't miss Mother's Day, Father's Day. You don't miss the obvious things. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about spots on a map anymore. The things in our life that we tend to miss because we're not paying a close attention, like maybe the people around us are, to the obvious things in our lives. Let me say this from verse 7, chapter 12. This is what it says. It's a very simple verse. It's part of the continuation of a sentence that's going on right now. If it's serving, then serve. If it's teaching, then teach. This is very simple. Paul in this is being very directive to us. He's saying, and he's been going through verse 5, 6, we have different gifts, many according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesying according to your faith. If it's serving, I got the hiccups. If it's serving, then serve. If it's teaching, then teach. And then he keeps going with verse 8, which we'll talk about tomorrow. He is very direct about this. Why? He's direct because we miss the obvious thing. Oftentimes, we will think to ourselves, well, we're not gifted in this. We can't do this. And God says, you are and you can. I don't know how many of you out there have sometimes said, well, I just don't think I'm gifted. And so I better not. Like, maybe I think I am, but what if I'm wrong? I don't want to look, dumb. And you become the person that is looking for the place on the map, looking for the looking for where your spot is. But it's obvious to everyone else. Because here's the thing. If your gift is serving, then serve. And if it's teaching, then teach. Paul is being so a matter of fact about this because people will tend to say no to their gifting. They'll say no to how God has gifted them, blessed them, and they'll try and kind of make something else up. Like, no, that's not really right for me. I'm going to do this other thing instead. But that other thing wasn't made for you. If you haven't identified the area that you're gifted in, you need to spend time figuring that out. And then you need to do that thing. If your gift is to serve, then look for more places to serve. Don't just wait for serves to come up. Talk to your mom, talk to your dad. Hey, parents, talk to your kid and say, hey, listen, I feel like I have the gift of serve, and I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with you. Or you know what? I feel like the gift of serve, that needs to be something that we foster in this family. Let's do it together. I have the gift of teaching. You know what? I want to teach in this family. I want to get us together for family devotionals. I want to hop on Instagram or Facebook. And I'm going to do little devotionals for everyone. And I know some people are listening to that like, whoa, my gosh, you're really putting yourself out there. That sounds really risky. If it's teaching, then teach. I love it. It's simple. There's complicated things that we will do in life, but God's calling is never complex. We make it more complicated because typically we don't want to do it. So when you hear Paul say, well, listen, if it's serving, then go serve. Well, hold on. I want to serve, but I want to make sure that I'm serving the right way at the right places and clocking the right hours. And no. If it's serving, then serve. If it's teaching, then I don't really think I know a lot about the Bible. I don't really think I have much to say. I don't really, where would I teach and how would I teach and what version of the Bible would I use and what should I be wearing and should I stand on my head and should I do a dance? Should I have backup dancers? Like, what should I do? If it's teaching, then teach. I think sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to step into the word obedience. God doesn't call us to understand every bit of how he's gifted us or what his plan is. He doesn't let us in on every bit of it. He tells us that in the Bible. He tells us there's some things that you will not know, and that's okay. We need to step into obedience because if we've identified the thing that we're gifted in, then we need to go do it. And here's the best thing. You can start today. You can kind of figure out what your thing is and you can start doing it today. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait for someone else. If you know and if you don't know what it is, you need to spend time figuring out what it is. But if you know what it is, you can jump into doing it today. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to do, to give you the A-OK. I am giving you the A-OK. The A-OK has now been given. If your gift is serving, then serve. If it's teaching, then teach. If it's something else, then go do that thing too. And do all those things to glorify God and to make a big deal of who he is and to honor the grace that he has given. Out of the grace, we have been gifted with these things. He didn't have to do it. He did it because he wanted to. That's the idea of grace. And then have a blast. Like really enjoy doing what you know God has gifted you to do. Here's the deal. I love you guys. Enjoy your day. I'm praying for you, R12. Keep enjoying the start of summer. I'm seeing so many people graduate. A lot of students that I know. It makes me feel old, and I love it. Blessings. We're praying for you. We're for you. We're excited for what God's doing in your life. I'll see you later, R12. Have a good one.